Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and like. Our series begins in 2006 with our main character, Koo, a handsome young man, the most attractive guy in his school, and the most talented when it comes to basketball. Today, he had a match against another school, and at first, his team was getting completely crushed, especially since the opposing team's captain didn't really follow the rules and kept bullying and mocking them. At the last second, our boy managed to score, winning by just 2 points. He went to tease the other team, which made them furious, but his own team was extremely proud of him. At the same time, his friend, whose name also starts with Koo, but is Koo Jun, was walking around the court. People always assumed they were brothers since they had the same surname, but they were just friends. Anyway, the whole school knew this. Jun was walking normally when suddenly a bully bumped into him. Not only that, the rude guy told him, "Watch where you're going." But Jun had a headache and replied, "Watch what? You crashed into me in the first place." The guy snapped, "Oh, you're talking back to me now?" Before he could hit Jun, the captain caught them and made the bully run laps. He told him, "I'll deal with you after the last lap." After Jun went to class, the guy followed him, kept annoying him, and said, "Just because you're friends with a famous athlete doesn't mean you get to act all high and mighty. Even if he's your friend, he's not here to protect you." Right as he was about to hit him, our main character arrived and punched the bully. The bully didn't stay quiet. They both started fighting until a teacher arrived and punished the bully and his gang. As for Koo and Jun, the teacher punished them too, but only made them write an apology letter. Of course, Koo made Jun write it because he was the nerd and would finish it quickly. Koo just sat there watching the punished students, enjoying the moment. After they were done, they left together, and although Koo tried to act tough, he got scared of a pigeon. His friend dragged him away from the school. They went to Jun's house, where he sat looking at his social media to check his follower count. Then, he pulled out a stack of money, literally wrapped, and gave it to his friend as a birthday present. Jun's grandmother arrived from work with birthday food. They prepared the table, but right when they were about to celebrate, Jun blew out the candles immediately, disappointing them, but they knew this was just his personality, so they ignored it and started eating. After that, Koo saw Jun's grandmother packing food for him to take home. She told him to wash the dishes first. He said he didn't want to leave and wasn't going to give anything to his parents because they didn't care anyway. She scolded him, reminding him that Jun's mom saved him long ago, and the least he could do was show appreciation since she helped the friend he loves so much. Her words affected him, so he took the food to the hospital where his parents worked. Both were doctors, practically living there. He had grown up at Jun's house with his grandmother because his parents were always busy. He gave them the food, but his mom left immediately for a new emergency case, as always, leaving him to walk home alone. He looked at the hospital from afar and remembered the first time he met Joan there. He was visiting his mom and hid, hearing Jun and his mother talking in her office. When their mom stepped outside, Koo approached Jun and they became friends. The next morning, he went to the salon where he always got his hair done. He kept going on about the new transfer student, how gorgeous she was, and how everyone was talking about her. His friends didn't believe him because every time a new girl transferred, he said the same thing, and she would always turn out ordinary. They ignored him and looked through a magazine the salon lady gave them. Jun saw a picture of his favorite actress. Koo tricked him into washing someone else's hair, then tore out the photo for himself and ran away. Jun chased him, but Koo suddenly felt exhausted and dizzy, so Jun caught him before he collapsed. Afterwards, they went to school, but Koo felt Jun was still unwell, so he told the teacher. The teacher sent Jun to the nurse's room. At that moment, the new transfer girl was also there. She didn't want to go to class yet, so she stayed in the room and overheard everything they were saying. Koo was trying to get Jun to forgive him for taking the picture of the actress. They made a bet using coin toss, heads or tails. If Jun won, Koo would do whatever he said for a whole day. If Koo won, Jun would forgive him. When they tossed the coin, it rolled under her bed. She surprised them by pulling the curtain aside and saying, "Jun wins! Shut up, Koo!" They froze, not because of her words, but because she was stunningly beautiful. Each of them saw her as his ideal type. One saw her as attractive, another as innocent. Later, they went to class, and the teacher introduced her to everyone. The boys were all excited. After school, the boys went to play PlayStation as usual. Koo kept saying that she really was beautiful this time, so much that he got distracted and lost the game. Jun made him give up his favorite basketball shirt shirt as punishment and actually took it. They went out walking together. The girl saw him from behind and mistook him for her brother because she had just bought him the same shirt. She confidently ran up and hugged him from behind. All of them were shocked, and so was she when she realized it wasn't her brother. She immediately apologized and walked away, embarrassed. The next day, when they went to school, they saw her sitting alone. They kept staring at her, and another girl who knew her from their old school walked up to greet her, but to everyone's surprise, the new girl completely ignored her and even told her to stay away. They were shocked by her personality. After that, as usual, the boys decided to look for a place that would serve them alcohol. Since they were underage, most places refused, but their friend told them about a famous restaurant that served drinks to anyone, no matter their age. The boys were excited, ordered food, and were just about to drink when they saw police outside. They panicked and ran away. Still not giving up, their friend told them about another shop. The owner there had bad eyesight and wouldn't notice their age from their IDs. They went inside and drank freely, but fate had other plans. The owner's vision suddenly returned at the wrong moment, and she caught them. She told them to return everything because they were underage. They were disappointed again, but their friend never gave up. He told them about a supermarket where one of their classmates worked. She'd definitely hook them up. As they walked in, the main girl walked out holding a beer she was drinking, so they felt even more confident that the place was safe. They went in and bought snacks, eating happily, but someone must have cursed the moment because the main guy didn't notice he ate pistachio sauce, and he was allergic. His face changed instantly, and the boys panicked. They called his parents, who were worried, but told them to just give him his medicine and that he would be fine. Nobody volunteered to take him home, as usual. After taking the medicine, he felt better, went home, and slept. Meanwhile, June stayed home studying as usual, but his grandmother still hadn't returned. He went to look for her and found her trying to sell the leftover flowers she hadn't managed to sell during the day. He took them from her. The next day, he brought the flowers to school. Koo helped him arrange them in the teacher's office. When they returned to class to get their clothes for PE, they noticed the main girl still sitting in her seat. At first, he thought she didn't know, but she actually knew they had PE. She just forgot her clothes. He told her, "It's fine, wear mine. I have another set." She agreed, and on the way, she kept thanking him. He casually helped fix her clothes, and she found him really sweet. When they entered the gym together, everyone started whistling and teasing them, saying they looked cute together. This annoyed June, especially since Koo kept taking care of her during training, and became really happy when he scored a point. Later, when they were packing up, they noticed she couldn't play well, so Koo taught her. June grew extremely jealous. After school, June went to the library alone to read, but he couldn't do anything because he felt sick again and got a headache. The bully and his gang saw him alone and were happy to find him without protection. They beat him badly, and June didn't even defend himself. He was genuinely exhausted and weak. At the same time, our main character was asleep having another nightmare, as usual, seeing June's older brother, who had died. Back at June's house, his grandmother was cleaning his room when she found his medication. She realized he was suffering. He was taken to the hospital, and everyone found out. They visited him. When they asked what happened, he refused to say the truth and lied, claiming it was some kids younger than them. Koo couldn't understand how younger kids could beat him up like that. During the tests, the doctors, who happened to be Koo's parents, discovered he had kidney failure and needed a transplant. They explained everything to his grandmother. They also said that since he had no symptoms, it meant the condition wasn't too advanced. But the grandmother sadly told them he had been taking medicine to numb the symptoms, which meant he was feeling all the signs. They began to worry he would die just like his older brother. When Koo found out, he was extremely upset because June never told him he was suffering. He left angrily and went to talk to his mother, who explained they were waiting for a brain-dead donor or someone suitable. He remained worried and stayed by June's side constantly, which is why he didn't go to school. The teacher asked about June's situation and checked on him. When the girl found out he wasn't coming, she gave his clothes to their friend to take to the hospital. Their friend annoyed Koo by claiming, "She was really worried about you," which wasn't true. But Koo got annoyed anyway. They all played with June at the hospital and returned him to his room. Koo kept staring at him while he slept, remembering when he once brought him a dory fish as a gift to cheer him up. Koo realized he couldn't live without June, especially now that June was getting worse. So he made his decision. He wanted to donate his kidney. When he told his mother, she immediately refused because the surgery had risks, and as an athlete, the consequences could affect his whole future. He got upset and walked out. June's grandmother saw him and told his mother that she understood that neither of them would allow the surgery, so she shouldn't feel guilty. But the mother still felt selfish for protecting her own son only. June's grandmother reminded her, "Don't forget, Koo was the hope for both me and June, so they could continue living. That's why I'm not upset with you." But Koo's mother reconsidered considered everything and came back with a pile of medical files, explaining all the risks. Koo didn't care at all. He wasn't scared. He was determined to donate his kidney and save his friend, who had been suffering silently and who didn't want him to donate in the first place. But Koo absolutely refused Jun's refusal, and in the end, they did the medical tests. Strangely, they were extremely compatible, as if they were siblings, so they prepared for the surgery. Before entering, everyone thanked Jun for his sacrifice. Then they went in for the operation, which was extremely stressful, especially for the doctor, because she was Koo's mother. She was terrified for both boys throughout the entire operation, but thankfully, it ended safely. After a month, they returned to their normal lives and went back to school. Koo ran straight to the classroom to check on the girl, but she wasn't there. 3 girls had taken her to an empty room and were trying to bother her. Jun heard them, opened the door, and was about to go to her when Koo appeared from the other side, grabbed her hand immediately, and took her out of the place. She walked with them, checking on Koo to make sure he was okay. He was so happy because she cared, even if it was something small. Later, everyone gathered, made a mixed drink together, and decided to open it another day for a party. Each person had to bring a guest. Their friend joked that Koo would definitely bring him, but Koo said, "I don't even know you," so they understood he was planning to bring the girl. Both Koo and Jun kept thinking about her. Jun also noticed he could now write well with his right hand, even though he was left-handed. Koo, meanwhile, was struggling. His coach noticed his performance had dropped and told him to focus only on training. Even the girl herself kept thinking about both boys and how kind they were to her, not to jinx it, as they say. The next day was a holiday, so the boys took some flowers from Jun's grandmother's work and tried selling them. The girl saw them on her way to her job, liked the flowers, and bought a few. Their friend nudged Jun and said, "Come on, she's clearly hinting." That night, they all showed up to the party together, which made Jun even more jealous, but he focused on sneaking into school by jumping over the wall. The boys helped the girl jump too, since our girl doesn't upset anyone. She held both their hands as she jumped. When she entered the party, everyone was surprised at first, but then accepted her, and the night was really fun, until Koo started noticing that his friend, Jun, kept staring at her and paying attention to her. He became worried. What if Jun liked her too? He quickly took her outside to talk. He asked her what her zodiac sign was, just to open conversation. They kept chatting until suddenly, the school security caught their friends, and everyone ran. Koo made her run with Jun, so he could help their friend who fell. Jun took her and hid with her in a small alley. When he looked at her, he remembered how she worried about him before, and he was about to confess, but Koo called, so Jun took her to him. Koo was stunned because Jun was never like this before, but he ignored it and took everyone to the basketball court. They played basketball and other sports, then went home. At home, Jun's grandmother realized her necklace was missing. When she asked him where it was, he said he didn't know. Maybe she had dropped it. Koo searched everywhere she usually went, but found nothing, so he stopped searching and focused on his upcoming match outside school, which he won. When he returned, the first thing he did was go to class to check on the girl, but he found her stealing a classmate's item and putting it in her bag. He was shocked. She didn't deny it or defend herself. He opened her bag to check, and she really was stealing. Not only that, he also found Jun's grandmother's necklace in her bag. He was furious, yelled at her, called her a thief, and didn't give her any chance to explain. They stopped talking completely. Jun noticed and asked if they had fought. Koo denied it, but handed Jun the necklace. Jun was relieved, took the necklace, and gave it back to his grandmother, happily. Koo, however, was still upset. He kept remembering all the moments that made her look like a thief, like when she walked out of the supermarket with a can of beer that shouldn't even be sold to their age. So he assumed she had stolen it. He had no idea that she was a thief, but in the case of the necklace, she was actually innocent. She had only found it where the grandmother dropped it. Still didn't justify the other things she stole. The next day, they saw her with the bully, who was bothering her. Koo couldn't help himself. He stepped in and protected her. She ignored him and acted upset. He followed her and told her she was being dramatic because she was actually the one who was wrong. She said, "So what do you want me to do? Apologize?" Which annoyed him more. At night, Jun saw her at the supermarket trying to steal again. When she saw him, she ran. He chased her but didn't judge her. He asked her why she was doing this. She was very embarrassed, but he comforted her, telling her there must be a reason, and she could tell him when she felt ready. On his way back, one of the bully's friends hit him, and unlike usual, Jun fought back. He had never fought before, but he was angry and snapped. They almost beat him badly, but Koo, our hero, came and saved him again. Later, on their way home, everyone was confused why Jun started the fight this time. Jun brought up the girl, saying Koo was wrong about her. Koo said she stole his grandmother's necklace. Jun explained she only found it when the grandmother dropped it. As usual, Jun went with Koo to his house and slept there. Koo noticed June was asking him strange questions about cellular memory. June dismissed it and said he wanted to sleep. The next morning, Koo found June had written down everything that had changed about himself since the surgery, like his improving eyesight, his increased irritability, and other traits he had taken from Koo. Koo was shocked and called his mother to ask what cellular memory was. She explained that sometimes when someone receives a kidney from a donor, they can inherit some of the donor's traits, even their romantic preferences. Koo remembered how June had started caring about the girl and realized June liked her because Koo liked her. But when they saw him with her the next day, stopping her from stealing, they took him aside and kept asking if he liked her because of the whole cellular memory thing. He told them no, that he'd liked her from the very first moment he saw her. They were shocked because that meant both of them had fallen in love with her. After that, when they went to school, a girl reported that her wallet was missing, so Koo immediately suspected her. But then the girl found it, so she looked at him annoyed because he had doubted her. Later, the teacher came in and announced the top 5 students, which included the heroine and John. Then, he also announced the bottom 5 in the class, which included Koo. He told them that after school, the bottom students should have no relationship with the top ones because they were failures. Then, he asked all the students which group they wanted to belong to. From that moment, their third friend decided he would become a nerd like John and started studying non-stop, leaving Koo alone most of the time. When the top students returned to class, they found rumors spreading that the heroine was a thief. It turned out the girl who knew her in the previous school exposed her. John didn't understand and thought Koo was the one who told everyone, so he asked him. Koo answered mockingly, saying, "So what? She's a thief anyway. Do you plan to date her when everyone knows the truth?" His words cut deep, especially when he made fun of John's personality. John grabbed him and hit him, and Koo didn't stay quiet. He hit him back. In the end, John's grandmother was called to pick them up. She couldn't understand why they were fighting, but she promised the teacher she would solve the problem between them. She tried on the way home to convince Koo to come to their house and make peace, but he was still angry at John and refused. As for John, she sent him home alone while she went to buy her flowers. Unfortunately, on her way back, she fell and hit her head badly. The next day, they heard the news at school. Koo quickly called a taxi and rushed him to the hospital. They sat together crying until she came out of surgery. They stayed by her side until they finally reconciled. The next day, John went to school and found out the heroine was transferring, so he went to say goodbye. She told him she might travel abroad to continue her studies. He wished her well and went home. He was studying when someone called him. His grandmother had passed away. He told Koo the news while crying, and the next day, they held her funeral. They told Koo he should move in with John now, so he agreed and said he would go pack his things. When they stepped outside, he saw the heroine and said goodbye before she traveled. They returned to school later, and there Koo noticed John was really getting sick again. This time, John decided to suffer alone. He disappeared from Koo's life, leaving him a farewell letter and his grandmother's necklace as a memory. Koo lived with that pain for 16 full years. During those years, he became a successful psychiatrist. The heroine also returned from abroad, became a famous actress, and he followed her news from afar, until one day she came to his clinic herself. He panicked at first, then made her coffee, and they talked about how fast the years went by. Suddenly, she asked if he was in a relationship. He was shocked and said no, then asked why. She said, "Because I'm famous. If someone sees us together and you're taken, they'll accuse me of being sneaky." He became suspicious when he learned she intended to come again, and she did. She kept showing up at his clinic, acting like she owned the place. She even dragged him out to hang out with her. He noticed he was still afraid of birds, and she kept laughing at him but protected him anyway. One day, she showed up planning to stay the night, so he took her to his apartment. There, she realized he was isolated from the whole world. He didn't even turn on his TV. She hung out with him, drinking, until he asked why she always comes to him and why she seemed off that day. She turned on the TV, and they heard news showing CCTV footage of her stealing again. This time, she broke down completely, but he didn't attack her. He spoke to her calmly to understand. It turned out she actually had a medical condition. Every month before her period, she lost control of her impulses and ended up stealing things. He reassured her that she could get treatment and that he understood her. She was so relieved and told him he was one of the few people who ever cared to understand her. He remembered how harsh he had been with her in the past and felt terrible. She announced her retirement afterward and stayed by his side all the time, even going with him to the clinic. One day, the doctor who worked with him saw her. It turned out to be their old third friend. She asked him about John, and he told her he disappeared 16 years ago and never returned. She felt sad for Koo, but happy because she was close to him again. He even held her hand and told her he had wanted to do that long ago. She was thrilled because she had loved him back then too. Then she confessed something. She actually knew where John was. They had met some time ago, and he was the one who encouraged her to come see Ko because he knew she loved him. Ko was stunned, even more stunned when she took him to see John. The moment John turned around, he recognized Ko instantly and ran to hug him. She was so happy that she brought them back together again. And our story ends here. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next drama. Goodbye. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and like. Our series begins with Sun, who goes to confess his feelings to the girl he likes, whose name is Yoonsu. He tells her that he loves her and wants them to be together.